Hello, minis. This is Discovery Scouts here in the Pirates of the Caribbean series here. Good morning to you. Today is Tuesday, August 10th, 2021 today. Um, Once in a call for the Hunter call or wire Rancho Delaware console needs to be patience. Part number one. Um, we're just having about the issues, all things that are really concerns that are about $60, 60% off about August 16th, and then I just got listening to the Zaggy DK today, and so we're just gonna do the about we're coming up with about the fixed issues, the problems. They're gonna do more about the one more week for the vacations, and including the 2 weeks per days, 2 weeks per week, and I'm also gonna have to do something. We can do this by yourself for you guys. So you and the console players, so all things including PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Xbox One for the series. And yeah, the PCs came out for about the June 29th, almost about the real concerns about the almost 2.5 months last. So it just could be possibilities instead of about the July to August, just those today. So even we can even to give for the consoles all things that are about for the part 2 or 3 at about 30th to 31st during the end of the summer, 123 days. It's also thinking and concerned about the Yukon values of problems today about the fixing and repairs of the problem about ATV headlights, ATV lights problems, and weapons. And all he has to do is doing to it about some the hunter call the wild weapons today. We call the rifles, handguns, shotguns, and bows, and all the equipment and consumables and decoys. Some backpacks, some coats, somewhere about scent, animal scents. So it's however the luring calls. So they're gonna still fix the problems today. They're talking about probably the next month. That should be the confirmation about August to September, and then and that's where they're gonna work this out for the busy to fix the Senate to reports problem. So the console players, it does have it about the restarted to uninstall it, reinstall it problems, and we just gonna need to do something about. It took it about the 6 to 7 months. Um, Especially the other such things with no idea about the Reddit day the alien are coming, and then he says that this says the September 31st, or this is not September 31st, and I believe that the 30th, the end of the September, it is almost October 1st, and that's too long, and that's too long, and that way it should be goes at about the 3 years into 2024. Um, all that you need to do would just take it to continue a hunt today about the caribous, moose, and bisons, and fox, harlequin ducks, and grizzlies, and wolves, and they have about the upcoming extended animal here for once for doll sheep, and so I basically do have about Westline Ridge, Copper Bull Lake, Copper Rock, and I know sometimes that they have about recovering T-coins forests temporarily, including Bankside Redwater Sands and Bankside Forest, and the Stoneholder basis is still okay about the doll sheeps, which they introduced us by Bitcoin sheeps and stone sheeps and mountain goats. For that was the very interesting about the reintroducers on around for the 11 reserves, and then it is also the half of the latent lake here problems. As far as I am concerned about white-tailed deers for whether the herds with the bucks, the blacktails, Roosevelt elk, the the most still for the second ones, and coyotes, black bears, molars, and jackrabbits are the white-tailed, and park banana here still problems. Some pumas, mule deers, axis deers, black bucks, red deers, cinnamon teals, and water buffaloes. And then, so the next one could be reserved from the map is the Silver Creek, so it could be problem. Um, they have the still plains bisons. The new units here have about the pronghorns, bighorn sheeps, mountain goats, mountain lion, turkeys, black bear stills, the mule deer stills, and the Rocky Mountain elk. And then for the TRR war here about the Big Island of New Zealand. So basically, this do have about the fallow deer, red deers, turkeys, European rabbits, Sika deers, Fera pigs, and those who have camels and goats. They still have to continue when you guys on the 100 day about process to the updating about the 30th to 31st. And then, so for right now, so Zaggy DK could be about that everything's probably there, but look around about the scenes of the pictures says howdy hunters, and so we'll be back at about we'll be back to the fix of the problems about for the August and September. And make sure not to worry about the Reddit for the hunter call the wire problems about any news. So just let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about the console. It comes out about the updated officials today. It's probably about September 10th. September 10th. That should be exactly. It should be alright with that. Um. So I basically yes. If you guys still continue about maybe Fat Tiger here about the hunt around for about during the snow days about the brown bears, reindeers, wild boars, Eurasia lynx, Siberian musk deers, and the moose. The moose here, some about 6 species, and huge failure here about European rabbits, Canada goose, European bisons, red fox, wild boar, roe deer, red deer, the fallow deer, and still have a Vahanga savanna here. Which you can hunt about for the African reserves here. They have lions, scrub hares, Cape buffaloes, side strip jackals, lesser kudos, gensbucks, blue wildebeest, and warhogs and springbucks. So there's only 9 of them. They could be about for the updated about the remorse, the ATVs problems, and they're gonna have to be fixed or updated about. It takes it more than about 3 to 6 hours. And if you guys if it or don't forget if still you have to continue about the quadriculinas here, Iberian mouflon, Iberian mouflon, Iberian wolf, red deer stills, and wild boars, European hares, Bissetti ibex, Gredos ibex, southeastern Spanish ibex, and Rodent ibex. Well, they're gonna have to get some more fix of the problems from the remors today all around there for the 9 reserves, and that's okay. So they still haven't needed the process after the 1 more week vacations. And the once and for more, all things that we can concern about the part one. So today is about the Xbox One consoles, the Rancho of the Be Patience part 1. And so I do have about so to look around to see Kevin Weather about the Natural Express Rival Hunt, all things that we can concern about Plains Bison Hunt and the Yukon Valley. So so I pulled them down in there of about the 4 ACs about. It looks like about the giant ones. So I basically just took a shot all this in syncs at about the gold ones about 100%. So it's a 98.2% census are okay with that. The both goals. So I took him down for the 7th very hard wolf. So I just got the Texan. So I got Safe Harvest for the 7 very hard wolf. It gets aggressive for about it gets aggressive about lone wolf, and he always runs and started attacking by a wolf. So I jumping around, dodge around from attackers. So I used it about Cassiatore 12 gauge for 12 gauge slugs for the 6 ammunition magazines, and it's surprisingly about the shotgun hunt to see the wolf aggressive, which is including caribous, moose, even grizzly without the fox, Hartgren ducks, and without the bisons. And even though we do have about the deputy, I do have the deputy shotguns here, and we just have it about 1897 here. Exactly, students are right. Bison hunt with the 1897 shotguns for 3 magazines rounds one. They have a slugs. They have a slugs here about class 6 to 9th, and it's pretty hard to take a shot at about the bison herd. And then so I do have it about real interesting here about the bisons around there, the Yukon Valley and Silver Hills, the both of them were reserves here on Alaska and Colorado here. So even the pronghorns, it still have it about Silver Peaks. If a Mexican pronghorns it doesn't have it about Rancho del Rio, it included coos deers, a bodger deer, and if it doesn't have the pumas and jaguars and black bears and grizzlies, and don't worry about it. So don't worry about it. If you only need about the 9 species stills, it still have about the color peccaries, antelope jackrabbits, Mexican bobcats, wild grounded turkeys, ringneck pheasants, stills, the coyotes, bighorn sheep stills, mule deer stills, and white-tailed deer, and the stills too. And sometimes they have any questions for you, so I just wanted to say we just make it accomplished problems today. So I'll be right back for you. Well, I'm back. Just about last 20 seconds to just the time. We just said about the to be continuing one about so weird concerns that are about we fixed the problems. We fixed everything's problems from consoles, from animal disappearing, glitching, and bugging around all society concerned about the frozen concerns about last 5 seconds ago. So if that's the case about the frozen ago, even though exactly it was supposed to be, so even the white-tailed deer, even the white-tails that have a latent legs, and included black-tails that have about the hunt, and we're on the hunt, and Lady XO just mentions all this about the Howie Hunter. All they seem to do due to about after the 1 more week vacations, and so sometimes it still is okay with you for you guys. So make sure make sure to look out for about the Howdy Hunter about the Wikipedia today. It's still talking about the 9 species about the upcoming soon. It's about September 10th. And that's gonna be officials only in about the 30th. Alright, thank you so much for coming in and be patient for consoles, Xbox Ones, PlayStation 4 and 5. Make sure don't forget to hit the button, subscribe to my contest, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google via cameras, Kaka Stories, and Reddits and Tumblrs, and including YouTubers channels on the subscribers. Make sure to subscribe on Flinters, Ramen Tubes. Make sure to subscribe on about Flinters, DD33s, Ramen Tubes, Jackson Beard, Zaggy DK, Lady Legend XO, Scarecrows, The Lone Gamers, and their expansive worlds. They make sure to watch it on the reaction bit about the console player, the console talk, and go onto YouTube to the console talks during the Hunter Call of the Wild. and make sure to watch it on DJ Dirty D. That is why for the console players to be patient. Thank you so much for coming in, guys. Feel free to watch. Feel free to watch and play games today. So don't forget. So keep it rich, mateys. Have a good day. I will see you in probably about Monday 30th and Tuesday 31st. The part 1 and part 2. Don't forget. Monday 30th during the end of the summer. Part 2. And Tuesday part 3. During to continue during the end of the summer of 123 days. Make sure don't forget to about the videos today for concept Be Patience players, the part 1 or 2, the 30th, the 31st. Don't forget, guys. I will see you guys at 30th.